Hello and welcome back to Author Nation live from Las Vegas, and I'm here with author Nicolette Terry, who is an author. She's got some books here. I know if you're on audio so you can't see those, so we've got some books, so we're going to talk about those. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So how are you enjoying the show so far?
I'm having a lot of fun here. There's so many good creative people to just bounce ideas off of, and I'm learning so much, so many things to help me in my business and push my authorship forward.
Yeah, great. And now, is this your first time at Author Nation?
I was here last year for the last one of 20 books.
Great.
So this is technically the second year I've been here, but obviously first time with Author Nation.
So what do you like so much about the show?
It's the creative aspect. It's the creative aspect and bouncing ideas off of people and networking, and the classes and the sessions are great. And there's so much to learn from other people who are in the business as well. But then you also get to meet new authors and you get to network. And this time particularly, I've met a couple of other authors and we just hit it off. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Great. So you kind of make friends as well as...
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, because it's quite lonely just, sitting there writing the whole time. And
Yes. And nobody quite understands what it's like to be an indie author besides other indie authors.
Yeah, of course. So you've been to quite a lot of the talks. I haven't been to too many of them because I've been speaking to people about the talks. But what have been your favorite ones so far that you've been to?
Well, I am a really big fan of Willow Winters and her entire business practice. And so going to and watching her speak about what she has done to become successful and the things that she's put into practice to really build her business, I think has been the most inspiring for me so far.
Yep.
And, obviously I'm a romance author. And so hearing the other romance authors talk about what they do and how the world of romance continuously changes, and we're always looking for something new to kind of propel it forward. So
great. I was actually chatting to Willow just before earlier today, actually.
Yes.
And that was why you can't see on the if you're not listening to the video, but this book's got lovely printing, and Willow gets her husband to do it for her. And that's your plan as well.
Yes, my husband is in the Air Force, and he's got about 6 years left until he retires. And my plan is to make him become part of the business.
Be your spray boy.
Yes, I want to retire him and then have him do all the things that I don't want to do.
Perfect.
That's a happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly. So Willow, she's obviously amazing. You've heard her talks. What other talks have you been to that you've been?
So there's been a couple of talks about TikTok. And
that was just now, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is a huge platform like TikTok where they have a reach that other platforms don't have.
Yep.
And one of my goals is to become relevant on TikTok. Okay. And so listening to that one was really helpful. What can I do to get more of an audience there? And
perfect.
Yeah, that one's been.
I recorded an episode of this show, but not live, with a lady called Marketing by Shelby. So you should follow her. She's amazing. She's really good at all TikTok stuff, and she'll tell you exactly what you need to do.
And it's difficult. It's so difficult.
Yeah. And I think for romance books, it works really nicely.
There are a lot of romance authors out there who are really successful, and I hope to insert myself into that category soon.
Well, I think what's quite good about romance is, as well, obviously you've got some scenes, especially if they're a bit like raunchy, then you can kind of capture people's attention quite nicely with it.
Yes.
So that could be a good...
And the spicy content is really trending now. And one of my books is spicy, and it has a lot of that content in it, and people love it. It's definitely a fan favorite. It's one of my favorites. I'm a huge reader. I read when I'm not writing or trying to market my book. I am reading other people's books. Yeah. And it's also one of my favorites.
Great.
The romantasy even has some of the spicy in it. So.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your book. So we've got two here. We've got The Music That Ties Us and The Story That Ties Us.
Yep, and I know I have my matching earrings.
Oh, yeah?
So my first one, I am a military spouse. So my first one is about a military romance, about a guy who joined the military and then became really overwhelmed with all of the needs and the deployments, and it drove a wedge between him and his sweetheart. And, he leaves her behind. But then, a couple years down the road, he has to come back to the town and bury one of his best friends. Okay. And so that's what brings him back. And so my first book is about their journey coming back together after all of the trauma that he endures being overseas and deploying. The second one is, it's more of a journey of self-discovery. The main female character is suffering from narcissistic abuse.
Okay.
So she's extremely relatable, and, you know, she ends up stuck where she's in a relationship with somebody and he's just starting to, they don't want the same things anymore, and they're just changing, and it just doesn't work, but she doesn't know how to get out because she's comfortable. And, you know, all the things that he does, it's not that big of a deal, and, you know, very, very common things that we find, you know, in today's world. But then she meets somebody, and, you know, of course, he's not interested in a relationship and she's in a relationship. So, of course, you know, they have an instant attraction that they can't get over. And, you know, he befriends her and then helps her to see that there's more to life than being stuck and being, you know, mediocre happy. And so it's this one is a passion project. I think it's very relatable. And
are they related? It's not the same characters.
So this is connected standalones.
Yeah.
So they're in the same world.
Same universe.
The girl from the first book and the girl in the second book are best friends.
Right.
And then I'm working on the third one, and again is in that friend group. So
what's the third one about? This could be an exclusive.
Correct. So in the group of friends, I have one of the characters. He ran away to go to design school in LA, and so he started his own fashion company, and he's super successful, but his ex-wife is trying to steal his designs and push them in her own way. And so this one is more of he's trying to figure out who's in his company stealing, and he hires somebody who he has an attraction to. Yeah. And they're going to get into lots of trouble as they continue to try to find who is it that's stealing the designs in his office, and also fighting the attraction they have. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully that'll be released in the, I want to say, March time frame.
Yep.
So
you're a relatively new writer, I'd say. How did you learn how to create a romance type book?
So I have done so much research on perfecting my craft. Mm-hmm. I have read so many books. My favorite one is Romancing the Beat.
Right, I don't know that one.
No,
Great.
That one it literally maps out a romance book, and there are certain things that you need to hit in order to make an engaging romance book so that you don't lose your readers.
Okay.
I'm also a really big fan of Character Arcs by K.M. Wayland.
Okay.
Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't heard that one either.
So that one is a really good one, and I will push that one because it talks about how to make your characters engaging to where the readers fall in love with the character. Yep. And that's what you want anyway, because it's about their journey. So I've done a lot of time spending researching how to do it. And then I found somebody to mentor me. Audrey Huey, who does the planners. Her and I ran into each other in a writing retreat, and I was like, I never ever thought that I would be able to do this. I love to write my whole life. And she was like, no, you can do this. You can do this, and here, let me tell you how. And so she sat me down. We went through, step by step of, okay, first you got to finish. First you got to write your manuscript. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how. I can't do it. And she's like, stop, take a deep breath. And she was like, sit down. And she helped me form a plan of how can I accomplish this? What are my manageable goals? And how do I hit them? And so every single goal we set together, I would hit it. And it just kept going. And then it was in editing. And she was like, okay, when do you want to publish? And I'm like, 2 months? Yeah. And she's like, oh, you're insane. But okay, let's do it. And so she's like, you need to do this by this date, this by this date, this by this. And, again, hit every single one of those goals. And here we are. Yeah.
Do you use any tools to help you to get that? To use her books, like to get those.
So yeah, I did. Yeah. She has an author planner that she has created basically for authors, and she outlines all of that in there. She has yearly goals. She talks about, social media, and there's a social media plan in there because I don't know who has time to actually think about those kinds of things, but she's got stuff in there to help you with that. She has, editing. You can write down your editing goals and when you need to do those things, different story ideas. Anything that you need as an author, she has put into this planner. And then, of course, there is the actual planner. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. Yeah. And a lot of my time is spent with my kids. And I get about 2 hours a day. And if I don't utilize those 2 hours, then I don't get anything done. Yeah. So with that, I'm able to separate my time. It has like word goals on every day. You can write your word goal down and, hit it. And then also like different priorities. So I'm able to separate it and be like, okay, this is what I need to accomplish for my home life. I need to cook dinner. I need to make sure I got groceries. I got to take care of the kids and do da-da-da-da. And then I'm also able to put down, okay, here's my goals for today as an author. Here's what I need to get done to make sure that I'm staying on track to keep this going.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
and you've got one of the books here from Audrey Huey, so we can talk about. So is this one you're helping out with?
So I did. I helped out with this one.
Potter.
For those who I used to be a pantser, and I used to run through. This was also before I met Audrey.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So I started writing, and I would always get stuck.
Yeah.
I'd get to like 60%. And there would just something happen, and I couldn't figure out how to get my characters forward. And so, again, this is Plotter on paper. And
so Plotter's the software, and we spoke to Cameron earlier this week. Great. So
last year at Author Nation, I ran into Cameron, and I started asking him about his software because I had never used it. Mm-hmm. And I am a new plotter.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, tell me about this because I need to make it easy because I'm not good at it. I don't know how or what I need to do. And I'm overwhelmed by the idea of plotting, but I need to do it in order to make sure that my stories are successful.
Yep.
And so he starts talking to me, and we're talking about this, and he just says it like in an offhanded comment. He's like, you know what, one day I want to have it on paper, you know? And I'm like, I know a person.
Yeah, I know a guy.
Somebody. And so that's how this project was born. And so since last year at 20 Books Vegas, we have been working on this, and I got to beta test it, and I used it for my third book. To plot my third book. And it's great because I'm one of those people that like to write things down.
Yep.
I like to have a book Bible. I like to feel it come alive on the paper. And there's just something about writing it down. The ideas just seem to flow much better. Mm-hmm. And so here it is.
Yeah, perfect.
And this debuted here. This is the release of this happened, I guess, on Monday.
Yeah.
It was the first time anybody's seen it. So it's
That's amazing.
Pretty exclusive.
Yeah.
You know?
So it just shows you coming to these events, the people you meet, you never know
absolutely
how that serendipity is going to land, you know, like who you're going to meet, what's going to happen. And it just shows, you know, new writer, but you've already working on cool projects with quite successful people like Willow and Audrey and people like that. So,
and Craig Martell, Audrey's worked on a couple different projects with Craig. Yep. They did the author's legacy, which is basically the estate planning needed for an author. So, I mean, again, it's great. I feel like I know so many people here. If I have any trouble printing with Lulu, I know Matt, and I'm like, hey, you know, I had this happen. Can you help me out? And he's like, I got you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great. Coming here is one of my favorite things, just because we get to meet so many different people.
Yeah. So, well, it's been great to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Good luck with your new book in March.
Thank you.
And we'll put links to all these books in the notes so people can grab them.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Good. Well, thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. And you too.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into the Publishing Performance podcast. I really hope you found today's episode inspiring. I love chatting to authors, writers, and people in the publishing world. Now, just before we wrap up, let me tell you about Publishing Performance, the #1 platform for authors who want to increase Amazon book sales, but are not really sure where to start. Now, this show is all about helping you to sell more books. And if you're looking to boost your publishing game and to maximize your book's potential on Amazon, then Publishing Performance is designed to help authors just like you to grow your readership and to reach a much wider audience. Now, I know that Amazon ads can be slightly complicated, which is why Publishing Performance is like having a personalized ad account manager to create your ad campaigns, to choose your best keywords, and to make adjustments in real time. Now, if you're investing in ads, you really want to make sure that your investment is being used effectively, and Publishing Performance does just that. It aims to make your budget go further, improve your organic rank, and target keywords more effectively. Just go to publishingperformance.com to get started with Amazon ads for just $1.